The dreaded list. Yes, I made a list of all the materials I was going to need at the store. I think I got just about everything written down. And here's a couple tips for you. When you go to the store to get 2x6s, see, I need 2x6s to fit from the plate, mud sill, up to the bottom plate. A 2x6 is going to fit here, one's going to fit there. When I measure these are a little over 5 feet long. Now when you go to the store, let's see over here, I need another one here, one there up against the wall, one at that seam, one here up against the inside of the wall after I put my plywood on there. When you go to the store, it's important to know that, like, if you need 2x6s, you can't get a 4-footer and you can't get a 6-footer. They start in increments. At least most hardware stores start in increments of 8 foot, then 10 foot, 12 foot, 14, 16, like that. Even up to 20 foot. I think I might have even gotten a 22-footer one time, or 20 foot. Same thing with 2x4s. 8, 10, 12, 14, and so forth. Other than studs, they have 92 1/4. When you're framing a regular 8-foot wall, you can get a 92 1/4 inch 2x4, and then you can also get 8-footers. Or you're framing a wall 92 1/4, but in my case, most of all my stuff is 2x6s. Okay, so back at this length right here is a little over 5 feet tall. Okay, so I know I can't get 5-footers, I know I can't get 6-footers, but I can get a 12-footer, and then when I'm at the store I can cut them down to 6-footers, and they'll cut wood down in the back of the store. Most well, I know Home Depot and Lowe's does. I don't know about other places. I think other places will too. You just have to ask. And so I can get, for 2 5.5-foot 2x6s, I can get one 12-footer and have them cut it to 6 foot, and then it will fit easier in my car, my truck, or I can just get a 10-footer, put it on the rack. Okay, a 12-footer. And in this case, they're gonna cut some stuff for me. Okay, so I've got some 2x6s, and in fact I got 2x6s, 14 of them 10 foot, 6 of them 12 foot, and on the 12-footers I'm going to have 2 of them cut at 76 inches because I only need about 75 inches, and then on the other ones I can get by with cutting them at 64 inches instead of 6 foot, which is 72, because then that gives me a little bit and a little bit, and about a 16-inch waist piece or an 18-inch waist piece, and I might need to put some blocks in between the floor joists, and those are 14.5 inches. And if I cut this if I cut this 5 foot 2 inches, if I cut it 6 foot at the store, that only leaves me 8 inches, right? That only leaves me 8 inches left, and so now I have to throw away a piece 8 inches, 8 inches. Every place I cut, I'm going to lose 8 inches. But if I measured it up to here, it was 63, a little bit. Now, I'm not going to have them cut all my stuff exact, so I'm going to go 64 inches, then I'll pre-measure each one and cut them snug. Some could be 63, some might be 63 1/8, 63 1/16, anything like that. And then I'll have the rest left, and it will fit in my truck easier. I got a small bed, and I've got a lot of stuff I got to put on the rack anyways, because I've got 14 2x6s 10 foot long. 10 foot long? Where are you going to use those, Joe? On these stringers, I'm going to run a 2x6 sideways all the way down it, and then I'm going to cut it at the end. I'm going to cut it up at the top like this, and that's going to strengthen these up. Okay, granted, lots of the weight is held by the hanger clips up against the wall, and the 4x12s stair treads go into the wall cavity. See, about to here, see? And this 2x6 is part of the wall, and that's holding up the stair riser, and the 4x12 is sitting on top of the stair riser, so that stair riser, or stair tread, cannot go anywhere, can it? At least on that side. Then on this side, I'm going to go ahead and put another 2x6 underneath these and cut it in there tight with a joist hanger and all that kind of stuff, which reminds me, I probably need to add another 2x6, a 12 footer, and cut it in half or something, so I have little pieces, because I'm going to even do it under here on these that are already up here. See, right there, since it's inside the wall and since I can get to it, I can set it right down on top of this mud sill, right? And that's going to hold the weight of each one. See, same thing here, same thing down there, same thing down there. And that's going to hold the weight more so than this stringer, because this stringer was cut off, remember, and I'm going to end up cutting it back. I'm not sure exactly how far I'm going to cut it back, probably to here, straight down, and then when the 2x6 comes up, the 2x6 is going to extend up, and then it's going to be tied in over here, okay? And they use a 2x6 redwood, and I can actually get a 2x8 Douglas fir in there, so I'm going to put a double one right there going across with these types of side hangers. And yeah, see, this 2x6, they just scabbed it on and onto the stucco, and there's nothing down here. It really shouldn't be like that, but in order to hold this is a little weak up in here. This one looks pretty strong. This looks pretty strong. I think I'm going to be able to tie it in once I put the 2x6 up here. I may put another block that's maybe 3 foot long or so on top of that other 2x6, so I have more meat screwing down into there. And then I was thinking, how else can I make that stronger? Would you have to dig a little hole there and put a pier there and then put a post up there to the bottom of that? I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I could probably put a brace from here going up at an angle right on up underneath my new double 2x8 right there, up there, and I can put one off to the side or something, and then some of that weight is going to be transferred on down to this mud sill. I think I'm going to end up doing that at the end before I get out of this pit, and that's going to help with this weight. But lots of this weight on these 4x12s are already being held over here at the stucco wall, and then those screws go into the plywood behind there, and that, so it's actually pretty strong. Anyways, if these were all 2x8s, 2x6s flat, you know, instead of a 4x12 flat, then that would be something else. The stringers would actually be less. Right now they're about 21 inches apart, or 20 inches apart, and that's too far. If you would have had 2x8 slats or something, you would have had to put them closer. You'd have 4 stringers here and stuff, but it's just the way they ended up building it. So I know the 4x12 stair tread is going to be held at that end, and it's also going to be held over at that end, okay? And so really there's not much weight here. I mean, granted, this thing has a crack in it. There's a crack in it right there, and I'm not sure. I think I might just keep that one there, because that's just holding that. I'll put the 2x6 up there, cut this one off right in here to get rid of this section here, and that's some of that weight is going to be transferred with that 2x6 on up here to the rail, the 2x8 rail going across the other way, and that's going to help hold the middle up. That's going to help hold that. I'm fine with all that. Okay, so my back to my, why do I need 10 footers? These are like 9 foot, okay, and I can't get a 9-footer at the store. I got to get 10s. Same thing here. Up inside this hole, I'm gonna run 2x6s all the way up to the top and all the way down to the mud sill plate. This is, I call it a mud sill. And I've got, remember before there was 3 2x6s here. There was one there, one in the middle, and one over here. And that's just how they built the box, to kind of give the box a little bit of strength. And then they had 3 on this side that went all the way down. And that middle one is actually going to hold for those screws, those bolts. And so I took one of the lag bolts out. See these? There's a lag bolt there. There's a lag bolt up there. Those were only less than 2 inches long. They were going through the stucco, just in through the 1/2 inch plywood, the OSB plywood. And what I want to do is put a 2x6 on the back side of there, flat up against the new OSB, and then I'm hoping to get the screw, the bolt, going through the OSB and into the 2x6 as well, to give that a little bit more support. I mean, I could, if it doesn't work, you know, I'll get both sizes at the store, because they're not going to cost me very much, and I only need 4 of them, 2 there and 2 on the other side. Okay, because the ones that were up there are kind of rusty. And where are they? Where is it? These are like 16 years old. Okay, and they're a little rusty. I could reuse them. They've already been painted. But if I can't get the longer ones in there, 'cause I got to get the longer ones in there, and I can't really drill a hole in there. I'm going to have to measure exactly right on the back side before I put the 2x6 up or whatever, and see if I can't measure, maybe pre-drill a hole through this other side, because I'm not going to be able to get the drill in there, and I'll be in at an angle, so then the bolt's going to be in at an angle. I want the head flat, you know what I mean?